have failed me for the last time.
Oh, there's that thing again. Okay, hello everybody. Dr. Freedom here with you, and it's time for another edition of the Omega Files. Tonight, we're going to sit down and talk about the first time the Sea Devils have returned, and did they successfully recover from the Merca? Okay, but let us not forget the Merca, the greatest flop to hit sci-fi since I don't know, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Oh, but okay, let's get into it. Let's talk about or Plan 9 from outer space, because Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was actually kind of entertaining. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get on to it. We're going to sit here and talk about it. The first return of the Sea Devil since the classic era. Madam Ching, the pirate, and all that happy stuff. All right, let's start with DWC. What did you think of the episode? Let's hear what you got to say about it.
It's the first episode since New Year's and a return for the Sea Devils for the first time since Warriors of the Deep, in an episode that was frankly average at best, with a plot that ultimately made this episode feel mainly a filler episode that did little to advance the story overall, but still able to bring a history lesson by introducing Madam Ching, Ji Hung, and the treasure of Flora de la Mar. While it was good to see the Sea Devils haven't changed in appearance, unlike their Silurian cousins, the CGI to make them move and talk was so distracting they may as well have just done them like their first outing in the 70s. Characters spoke with British accents. I know the TARDIS translates, but under that logic, all the Americans we've seen should be speaking with British accents. Where it also faltered was the final fight. Not just because the fight choreography was slow, but it was so badly edited. At one point, the Sea Devil grabbed the Doctor's leg. The next, he's been thrown to the floor out of shot. Also, anyone else notice almost all the deaths were out of shot? We are also greeted once again to the growing romance between the Doctor and Yaz. I have already said how I don't like when there is a romance between the Doctor and companion, and at this point, it's probably too late, as production is changing, so Yaz may not be there soon, and the Doctor is regenerating next episode, and David Tennant is still the bookie's favorite, and Yaz has only recently come to terms with the fact that she likes women. While this episode was average, the Doctor must beware the forces that work against her and their master, and will finally feature the return of past companions. So I hope I can say, with a brave heart, the next episode will be ace.
Okay, AJ?
Yeah, I don't know who had more input in this story, whether it was Chris Chibnall or the co-writer, but this story just fell flat for me. I've already seen this story before. It was called The Curse of the Black Spot and The Vampires of Venice, mashed into one story. This story is highly uninspired, boring, and there was no threat. There was no danger. It just didn't feel exciting to me. I watched it the second time last night to just write down more notes, and I fell asleep in the middle of it. A lot of bad CGI. The only thing that I think I enjoyed was the extra characters. You know, Madam Ching, the boy, and Jihan, I think it was. They were very good. They filled their roles well. Everyone else just flat. I got to say, even Dan was a little bit flat. And there was a few little errors here and there, which I'll mention later. But this could have been a two-parter. It should have been a two-parter. Put more depth into the story, more danger, more threats. Why did they have laser swords? Where were their sonic hand weapons? I don't know. Sorry, this feels bad to me.
Yeah, when did the Sea Devils become like Jedi? I'm not kidding. That's what I was expecting too. Where was the ceramic plate, whatever weapons, whatever they call them. Oh, okay. William.
Yeah, I'm gonna right there. AJ already said it because we saw that before in Curse of the Black Spot, and it may I like the way the Sea Devils look, and of course they had that little thing that may have them translate what they're saying, so that's pretty cool. But the CGI really didn't need to be used. You could easily use practical effects, simple practical effects, nothing expensive or nothing like that. And again, like AJ said, this either could have been a two-parter or you could have made it a little bit longer. Because I hated the part at the end when the doctor's saying, "Oh, I'm not looking, I'm not looking for nobody romantic." When we have seen in other episodes that doctor actually sat down with the companion and talked to them about their past, especially with those fans of David Tennant who've seen that, when he sat down and talked to Martha. It looks like, I'm gonna say in my opinion, some of these writers are not doing their homework when it comes to Doctor Who. But the only one problem I gotta give them that the Sea Devils here in this story did not. Even those of us who besides the classic Who and we got the audios and the novels like that. I'm glad that the Sea Devils never knew the Doctor yet until this story, of course, in the future appearances from past Who stories, which takes place more in modern time. Uh, um, I hated the trailer for the next story because we knew of the boat. We knew the Master was going to come back. I don't understand why they had to bring back the Cybermen and the Daleks once again. Like again, I mean, I'd rather have it that they don't show up at all. And if you lose your license of using them, oh well. Because if you can't use them right, don't use them at all. Because now even it was funny because there want to be an opening statement about this story. Not gonna have to jump ahead. Now we got to think about the next story, which is gonna come out probably in the fall for the centennial. The next story is gonna have to be more than an hour long, more. But you already got three villains there. Then you still got to deal with the companions. What's gonna happen with them? And of course, because they gotta go their own way for the Doctor to regenerate. We're not gonna see. I don't think we're gonna see who the Doctor's gonna regenerate to, because we know that a regeneration was filmed, but not with the next person, who whatever it is, done. So in a way, I'm really not looking forward to the finale of Jodie's story because you had too many villains there, and it makes no sense. Now I could understand if you had the Master and maybe two other villains that hasn't appeared in a long time, like the Draconians and other stuff. Yeah, I would have given props, even the Crotons. I'm like, but it's not working and it's getting boring. And what really upsets me is the audio stories when they use Daleks, Cybermen, are great stories because they show their threat. And they're not, even though we are only listening to it, you are actually listening to people dying in the storyline. And for some reason now, it's like the BBC does not want to show death on TV. Just like us who collect comic books are not noticing that they have no respect for death, that they keep killing the hero and they come back 6 months later. That's that's why that thing ain't making no money now, and it's a dying company. The only thing that's helping them is the money from the movies, when it's successful. I love Madam Chen, and I looked up. She is a real historical person, and she has some great history. And I recommend historical she was to China, and how she battled like invaders, so to speak, from the UK and other countries. Um, so that's a great character to look up to. Now, could this thing have been improved? Maybe, because the one thing that BBC is going to say is, of course, they have to deal with the virus and the safety precautions they have to use for that. Yeah, you got to give them props for that. But at the same time, you did film the Jodie and the companions playing, on Halloween time, playing with that little jack o' lantern thing and other games, and they're together. So I'm saying you had time to do that. You could have done a little sit down with Jody and this and Jazz, to talk about their supposedly feelings to each other. We've seen this many times with the doctor having a companion having infatuation or actual way back. I mean, you watch the Aztecs to see how the first doctor was. You can see how sad the third doctor was when Joe got married, and same thing with Tom Baker when Sarah Jane left. You know how sad he was, and when Leela left too. And it goes on. You've seen it. Of course, the one that everybody of course is going to talk about is the Eighth Doctor kissing that his TV movie companion, and of course those who listen to the audios, we see Charlie and all the other ones showing infatuation with it, and of course the novel implying that the Eighth Doctor and Benny, had a romantic liaison. So let's look it up if you want to talk about that. It's not a bad thing that the companion has feelings for the thing, but the funny thing is you only got one story left, and you bring it up very late. So in a way, you only did this feeling to check the box off, for certain people who we don't even know if they actually do watch Doctor Who or not. Can claim that, oh yeah, this story, is about me. No, this is not a romance. This is not a romantic TV show or romantic comedy. This is Doctor Who, and the Doctor Who will be traveling from one place to another in space and time and deal with any mystery or disaster to avert in this story. Not had time to have romantic liaisons. If that's the way it is, then in reality, the TV show needs to be more than 45 minutes because now you're slipping in things that's killing time. That's the one thing that you notice when you're watching this season, even though it's only 3 specials and the one before it, you're wasting time on secondary characters we don't care about. And I'm being honest, those two couples that were looking for each other and she's pregnant like that, I don't care about them. You might show them in the final episode. I still don't care because they didn't do nothing in this whole season. They did nothing. Even if it's revealed that they are really the Doctor's parents, I don't care because the Doctor's going to regenerate. So that makes nothing. Nothing. It makes no sense. Maybe they're really the Max's parents. Well, that'd be a funny one right there. But it makes no sense. It makes no sense. I know it's a big wide opening statement, like we got other things to bring up. I don't know. It's gonna be weird for me. I want to watch the next finale because it's a finale. I gotta watch it because it's a finale. But I mean, trust me, man. I already got my things written down. Like nope. To bring it down. Was this one of the worst stories I ever seen? No. I mean, it's not the worst, but it ain't the best, and it could have improved too. And it had plenty of time to fix little here and there. So that's weird, man, because it's only 3 specials. You bring back a classic villain, and you're using that bad, but you could have done better. And I mean, I hate to be like a nitpicker, but you could have been better, and you could have done your homework when it comes to dealing with this finale, and not just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. That makes no sense. That's my opening statement there.
Well, we were going to talk about the centenary a little bit later, but okay, because I do have concerns about things I've seen about the centenary. Okay, this episode, okay, oh God, I think the best way to sum it up, and sadly I could not find the video clip to do it, but to paraphrase Dan Aykroyd, when he used to do that little segment on Saturday Night Live called Bad Cinema. I remember at the end of one of the flicks he showed, he goes, well, that wasn't very good, now was it? And that was the first thing that flashed through my mind when this episode ended. I'm like, okay, all right. Now, one of the things I had read all week was, I think it was Radio Times a couple hours ago, this episode is completely slow paced to the point it is boring. My problem was it starts and then it takes off like the freaking, what you call it, Wile E. Coyote with the rocket strapped to his ass. It doesn't even slow down for a second. It's like zoom, 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 zoom. Like it's like the Tasmanian devil on speed. I'm like it's like taking off, but and then you have chop, 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 and it looks like who edited this thing? Were they, oh God, I don't want to say the line because I'll be called evil. Were they spastic? I'm not kidding. Who edited this thing? Because it looked like it was edited by a all right. I'm going to use a Pertwee line, like it was edited by a ham-fisted bun vendor. I'm not kidding. It was just all over the place, bad edits. Now, I've heard a couple of different explanations for why this episode came in a bit short. Like some have been saying this, was originally going to tie things up and Jodie was supposed to regenerate at the end. I said, no, I don't think so. I think it was a classic case of they pulled this script out of their rear when they found out they had the centenary coming up and they filmed it and they filmed it in a hurry. Plus you had COVID going on and all that, but it's just, oh my God. When I got to the end of this thing, I was sitting there thinking, okay, you've got this part, where you find out where you got the ship from. I want to say the guy's name was Li Huan, who originally had the ship. I'm going
Jihan.
off the brain. Huh?
Jihan.
It was Jihan. I want to say Li Huan. I don't know why, but Jihan. You could have taken this and made it a two-parter just like they did with, Under the Lake and Before the Flood, where you had the part with Jihan and then you had the part taking place in the, whatever current timeline you were in. And it would have been a brilliant episode at that point. But no, they tried to slam it all together. Then they hacked it to bits. I'm not kidding. It's like, this thing looks like it was hacked up like by Ash from Army of Darkness with his chainsaw arm. I'm like, the editing was terrible. Oh God, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then they tried to slap in the Thasman thing at the last minute. And it's like, look, I can understand that, you want to do something for the fans, but the problem is that when you're at this point where you're already know that, basically the end of the track is in sight. You know, the end of the line is coming. You're about to hit the final tape. The marathon's almost over. You don't throw in another storyline at that point. It's like, yes, it was kind of implied that Yaz, or you could interpret it that way, that Yaz had these feelings for the Doctor. But to throw all this mess in at the last minute, it's like, what was the point at this point? It was too late. Way too late. And okay. Which is, like I said, this episode was a mess. And it's kind of sad too, because I enjoyed Flux for the most part. But then they got to the end. And the final episode was and then they go to this thing. Oh boy, the Sea Devils are back. Yay. The Sea Devils are back. I'm not kidding. That's how I felt when it was over. I was like, what was the point? Oh man, what was the point? Oh, so like I said, I did not rate this one highly either. Okay, that'd be that. I would ask if there were any good points, but why bother? I think we should just skip the rating this sucker and putting it to bed, because I want to talk about the centenary myself for a minute. Because I have some very legitimate concerns, some things I've observed that have me kind of on edge. Okay, so just to get it out of the way, because I'm going to do it first. I was being extremely generous. I rated this thing earlier this week on Legend of the Traveling TARDIS at 6.5 out of 10. Just for the fact that I damn near passed out for my own review. Now I'm dropping it down to a 6. Okay. Just when I look back on it, this had so much potential. You had so many good characters in there. And then it was like you threw them into a blender and hit puree. I'm not kidding. It was just, so let's go for the bottom first. William, what'd you rate this episode out of 10?
Give it 6 also. Like I said, it's not horrible. We have seen horrible, but it ain't gonna be up there. I'm not putting it up there as other great stories we have. It like I said, could have been either a two-parter or it could have been longer. And I don't understand why the BBC didn't put that effort in, considering this is right before the finale. So they should have made this story a little more effort, considering you see the Jazz and with her infatuation, wasn't needed. We knew it existed, but it wasn't needed. It wasn't going to go nowhere. Considering the next episode's the finale, and RTD is not going to have that actress coming back, so that's all. That made no sense there. I think because this thing was filmed after the finale was filmed, I think everybody just went through the motion. That's what I feel. They went through the motion. They just wanted it over with to get out. To get out. They just wanted it over with. And if you notice how quickly after everybody was done filming, that Jodie got pregnant again. That's guaranteed. If you're gonna see her, you're gonna only hear it. You're gonna see her sitting down or in audio. That's it.
Yeah, plus she's already gone back to the States. You can pretty much tell either that or she's on vacation because she just did that acceptance thing for the Diva Awards. And you can tell, even though she's wearing this ball cap and all that, she's sunburned as fuck. Oh no, there goes my monetization. Yeah, you can tell she's been out in the sun quite a bit. And that don't happen in Britain though too often. DWC will tell you that. The sun
It's always raining. It's always raining over there.
Oh, that's Wales. It's always rain. It's just the sun never hardly comes out in Great Britain. I don't know if it's global warming, but okay. Okay, AJ, what do you rate this thing out of 10?
I think a 4 out of 10 is highly generous. There was nothing inspiring in this story. It was like almost everyone just wanted to be out the door. And I got to say, I think Yaz is an extremely boring version of Martha.
Okay, DWC.
I rated it 5, and to be honest, I did have a bit of a point. I mean, we've been talking about how they've now done the whole. Well, they're trying to do the relationship thing between Yaz and Doctor, which is clearly, as we've all said, clearly going to go nowhere because Yaz is going to be out the door soon. If I had to guess why they're sort of doing that, or rather bringing it now, I imagine it's because of how when Jodie started, and we had Ryan, Graham, and Yaz. A lot of us were complaining about the fact that Yaz didn't really have any character development, and it was all Graham and Ryan. And maybe they were trying to, the moment Graham and Ryan gone, they brought Dan in. Well, or rather with Flux, maybe they were trying to get that character development in for Yaz, but obviously her first outing without Graham and Ryan was the series special, and they had to dedicate just about everything to almost all it is. That's what I think.
Okay, now that's out of the way.
I just realized something. You know who I really want something I want to say. You know who we don't in this story who didn't stood out only for a little bit? Dan, when he got caught in the shit with and him with Madam Chen. That's all the part that he was in. Because in the ending, when he was making that phone call, it wasn't even needed to be filmed because he did nothing after that. He didn't go see her. He didn't do nothing else. I'm like, so I mean, that little part with him and Madam Chen was the only great part with Dan. So you wasted that. You wasted him for nothing. This episode for nothing. It was a waste. It was a waste of time too because it could have been used for other things.
It was a filler. That's the vibe I keep getting. It was a filler. It wasn't even a good filler. It wasn't even stucco. It wasn't even Bondo. It was just filler. But okay, deep breaths. Okay. Now let's get the worry wagon really going. I noticed this earlier this week, and the centenary is coming up. It's either going to be October, November, one of those two. I think it's October. And my main concern is this, we've seen in the trailer, they've shown, Tegan and Ace, of course, Janet Fielding and Sophie Aldred, respectively, are going to appear in this centenary special. But, and trust me, it's a butt bigger than any Kardashians. But let us read this tweet, shall we? I've played alongside many doctors, Tom, John, Pat, Richard Herndal, and Colin, and I did Sylvester screen test. Many doctors, one Tegan. Where's Jodie Whittaker's name? That has me worried. If she had just done the centenary, and her and Sophie Aldred are going to have any interaction with the 13th Doctor, however, and this is already well after they've announced they're in the special, why isn't Whittaker's name in here?
Can I actually come in on that?
Well, you go ahead, shoot for it. This was put on April 28th, by the way.
Yeah. Well, if you take a look at what she's responding to, Bone literally knows this just now. It said that he's misspelled it, but he's actually asking, did it feel funny not playing alongside Pete Davidson? So maybe she's actually trying to say, oh, I've done all these doctors in the past, so it will be no different.
Yeah, but that has me worried, especially time for the piece de resistance.
The photos.
All right, here's the wrap party photo from October of last year. Of course, we can all take a guess who, Janet Fielding's dressed as. The only thing she's missing is the curly hair wig.
Turner?
Yeah, JNT. But what gets me is, here's Chris Chibnall, here's Sophie Aldred, here's Janet Fielding. Why are there no photos of them with either Mandip Gill or Jodie Whittaker?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And then now I thought, okay, I'm just being paranoid. I'm just, Dr. Freedom, you're being paranoid. So I kept reciting. But then John Davey posts his photo from the same Halloween party. Yet there's not one photo that's hit the internet yet from that rap party where they're anywhere near Mandip Gill or Jodie Whittaker.
Isn't that Jodie in the front there?
No, that's not. That's a guy.
God,
Sorry.
dude.
I couldn't tell the difference.
That's a man, baby.
It's a man, baby.
Well, I thought the mustache would give it away. Jodie shaved hers for the series. Okay. But so far, there's not been one thing mentioning where they've actually done a scene with the 13th Doctor. They didn't even appear with her at the Halloween party. So now I've got to sit here and wonder, oh, great. So basically it's going to be another one of them cases like what they did with End of Time and all that, where you're going to have all these people that are involved in it, but they never actually physically interact with the Doctor. And that's what I'm really scared what they're going to do with Ace and Tegan. It's just going to be a series of scenes that are going to
Also, Kate Stewart's going to be in there too.
Yeah, Kate Stewart is in there, and so is Vendor. Vendor, hoopty ding dong shit. I stopped giving a damn about Vendor 5 seconds after the end of Flux. I'm not kidding. As a matter of fact, I stopped giving a damn about Vendor and what's her name halfway through Flux because it just reminded me of one big, long, drawn-out old soap opera. John, Marcia. I'm sorry, it just... And then it turns out it didn't mean jack squat at the end. It was a whole series of side stories which didn't have anything to do with the main plot or even tie to it really in any way, other than like in this tiny, teeny minor crap they came up with later.
I got a thing. How come there's still no one talking about the fact that half the universe was destroyed?
Unless it fixed itself. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, it makes
the
no
thing
sense.
is, I mean, that's another thing. Because even though they didn't bring that up in the beginning of the episode when you see them traveling, and of course they wasn't going to bring it up no more because they were in the past. But what's funny, when they went back to the present, nobody brought it up about what happened with the flood. That's what you said about all these destruction and all that. I mean, that makes no sense.
I'm sorry, DWs. I was off in La La Land. You got your hand up. I just realized. I'm
It
sorry.
makes no sense. It makes no sense. Somebody's not doing it. to finish off what they did in the previous season, and not adding it into these stories at all. That makes no sense.
Okay, Freedom, you were saying how there was a subplot with Vinder and his wife had made ultimately went to nowhere. Well, if Vinder's coming back in this centenary, maybe that is going to go to somewhere. That might be the ultimate on point. To.
Yeah, but like I said, speaking back to Curse of the Black Rot, to me, that whole episode was just 40 to 50 minutes of let's introduce a couple characters. We're going to throw in as side characters for a couple minutes when we get around to Let's Kill Hitler. And it's like, are they going to do the same thing with Vinder? What's the name? Where we dragged her, willy-nilly through this whole series, and for what? So they can appear for a minute or two, in the finale or the centenary, whatever they want to call it. Like I said, I don't even know why they're bringing Vinder back. I'm trying to figure it out. I just really didn't give a damn. I was like, there's Vinder. It's like, that scene from Wayne's World. Yay, Garth, we're in Delaware. I'm just, what was the point of it? And now it's beginning to look more and more like just if judging from the scenes we've seen, plus the fact you've got Janet Fielding not once mentioning Jodie Whittaker when she's running through the list of doctors she'd work with, that's really pointing me towards it's a couple of side scenes and they're not even going to be involved in the main plot. At least that's what I'm getting right off the bat. Oh, look, there they are. And then, oh, look, there they are shooting machine guns.
I got the funny feeling that when they show the scenes with Ace and like that, they're going to somebody's going to screw up and they're going to say the last time they met the doctor was many years ago, when we who listen to Big Finish, some of them have met other incarnations of the doctor.
They've already done that. It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Tegan goes, it's been 30 years for me. And then, Tegan says 40 years for me. And Ace goes, it's been 30 since I last saw the doctor.
That makes no sense. That this is why I get so ticked off. Nobody's doing their homework, considering Big Finish got stories when these characters had met the future incarnations of the doctor. 8, 9, Warrior, whatever. They met some of these doctors. You got a Big Finish audio coming out before this final episode when David Tennant meets 3 past companions.
Not to mention, Tegan was supposed to have met the 5th Doctor again many years later in The Gathering.
Yep.
And she was allegedly dying of some alien space tumor she got when she was on the TARDIS with him. And it's like, that's not going to be mentioned at all either. I love how, when they've done these little trailers, for the Blu-ray box sets, like they show, Sophie Aldred in her, office at a Charitable Earth looking down on the Tower of London. Guess where that came from? That came from not only the Big Finish audio series and all that, but the specific part about a Charitable Earth's tower being there was from the beginning of her book at Childhood's End. Because she had the Charitable Earth headquarters, the plans and all that ran through. And because, Unit and them all tried to stop it, but she had enough money to get all around the back channels. And she had that building put there so she could specifically look down on the one back road to the Tower of London and monitor Unit's activities. That's why she had the thing built there. So that's why they did that little scene at the beginning of the Blu-ray where she's standing there looking out the window in the tower at a Charitable Earth. It's in her book. But now they're saying, okay, I haven't seen the doctor since the 90s. And I'm like, oh, God, no.
It makes no sense. What was the point of doing that book then? It makes no sense. That makes no sense. They like to only use the past to either bring back some certain monsters to, of course, to sell products, or just twist something that happened in the past to suit their needs, and not realizing that if you try to change something, it's gonna bite you in the rear end, especially when there's timeless children shenanigans that hasn't been solved whatsoever.
It's not going to be.
It's not going to be. What's messed up, it brings too many questions when you really go back and think about it, especially the way we listen and read how the Time Lords came to being and became sort of like, gained regeneration and all that, and of course the nonsense with River Song being a part of a, say, like a Time Lord. All that was from that past stories and all that. But now when you bring this thing and doesn't have a resolution or solve or solution whatsoever, you really open a can of worms, and all you did was bring it down. That explains, and in my opinion, I don't care if it was a Easter Sunday or people wanted to get out after the virus, that the ratings wasn't that great. They could talk all they want, and it was watched by this and that. You didn't get
It
enough.
was the number 3 performer on the day and the plus 7s. So it did recover nicely. Plus, even like I said, I can't complain about the ratings on this one, because when you look at the catch-ups, they actually became the biggest performer on the BBC for the day, like number 3 or 4 between it and ITV. So they didn't do all that badly. But it's just like I said, I just wish it'd been a better story. Yeah, no, everybody's going on and on about the overnight numbers and all that. I'm going to clue you all in right now. Overnights don't mean jack shit anymore. They don't. All they do to get the overnight ratings is that's based off of basically like the Nielsen system, where it's going off 5,100 households inside the UK. And you also have to remember, this was the first long weekend in the UK they've had since the lockdown's been lifted. So chances are people were out of town. People were not at home to watch television. It's that simple. Then some moron at the BBC, well, we want to simulcast it, so we're going to have to put it on against Britain's Got Talent. Yeah, putting a drama against a reality show. Does the name Custer mean anything to you?
You know what's funny? They showed it here at the same time that it was shown in the UK, but over here we still had commercials. We still had commercials, while in the UK they watched it straight with no commercials.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, that's how BBC America gets its money. It's
well, that's that you got to give them props for that. But I'm like, doing a simulcast at the same time makes no sense, because it's gonna finish before the US finish watching it, and then you got your computer on. Everybody in the system gonna be mentioning what happens at the end. So while you still haven't finished the episode, ain't finished airing, you're like, oh smokes.
But okay, AJ, you had your hand up for a bit, so.
Yeah, I just find it funny that now they're bringing back classic companions, and the fact that it's Ace and Tegan, but they could have brought back anyone else. Like, nothing against Ace or Tegan, they're both really good characters, but it feels like yay woman power. Do you know what I mean? Like, they could have brought back.
Oh yeah,
anybody.
you notice that, right?
They could have had Jamie come back.
No, you notice that they bring back the mouth with legs and the one that beat up the Daleks with a baseball bat.
I know, it's more likely to me. It's like, you couldn't have had at least, Carol Ann Ford, who's been begging to come back. So, like I said, that better be a surprise appearance. That's all I can say. All right, DWC.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on that claim that it's you're saying it's yay woman power. I just wanted to point out, you do realize the vast majority of companions have been female, right?
I understand that, but what I mean is, like, they've been so heavily influenced by what's going on in the world's culture of today, where apparently women should be more powerful and this and that. We should all be equal. No, but that's what it feels like. No one's saying that, but it's what it feels like.
Well, if no one's saying that, then your feelings are subjective.
But look how Yaz was treating Dan in this episode. She was treating him like he was an idiot.
She's done
dressing
that.
him up in a.
She did that in Flux as well. That's just part of her character.
But she's being, kind of mean to him. Like, he's new to this whole time travel thing. He doesn't know what to do or how to deal with it. You can't disagree with that.
I look at it this way. I don't think they're bringing back Mickey or Captain Jack anytime soon.
No. Are you sure?
I'm shocked that I haven't. I'm shocked that they haven't asked Bridget Hines to come back. I'm totally shocked.
Yeah.
That's a shocker right there.
That's what I said. Bring back Jamie. He'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'd have to see, like I said. Well, folks, so we have our concerns, we have our causes, and we all agree. Oh, that was a bad episode.
Still, no. I hope they better. First thing, whoever's gonna play, whoever the next act at the actual, I don't give a rat's ass. Whoever the next person is to play from what's coming up, the supposedly 3 specials for next year, that announcement better happen fast. Because and was a funny thing. They already announced for New York Comic Con, David Tennant's coming, and he would not be coming over here unless he's going to be promoting something. So think about that.
Wasn't he busy filming the 60th at the moment?
We don't know.
Sure, he was filming New Omens.
Yeah,
You know,
he's always busy.
Good Omens, I mean, excuse me.
Like I said, we'll get along with it. We'll survive. I hope. Oh, we got RTD around the corner. We'll have to see what he's doing. And hopefully we'll start getting more news on this. Like I said, there's got to be a 14th Doctor announcement soon. They can't hold it off forever. So until then, everybody, please take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great weekend. And we'll hopefully see you for the next one. And hopefully the centenary special doesn't suck. Good night, everybody.
They're gonna be shit.